Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm muted.
Hey, man. I'm excited. Where's my beer? I got a tall boy today, Joe. Okay. You have some new... Well, I was gonna try to be fancy and say it in Spanish. I don't even... Oh, it's cervezas.
Cerveza.
What's the new? What's the new, sir? What's the new? How do you say new?
Nueva.
Nueva cerveza, por favor.
I believe it's nueva. I don't know, to be honest.
Cerveza huevos. No, that's the wrong one.
Yeah.
Joe, we're back.
Hey,
we are here. Bots.
Boots.
The boots are out the window. But we got bots and we got beers.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And I don't think we're alone. So even though people tuning in right now, they only see my face and your face. We have Mr. Oz hiding behind the curtain.
Mr. Oz, yeah.
A better looking. I'm looking right now. A better looking one. A much better looking.
Better than you and I.
There we go. Yes, yeah. That's what our guests are going to quickly find out that we don't choose our guests based off like anything crazy. All we do is we find people more attractive than us, and we're guaranteed to get more views. That's all we got. That's the goal. Bring someone on who looks better than us. Somebody will be interested in them. But Joe, I'm going to do the drum roll. You ready? Boom! Who do we have?
Welcome, Nicholas. How are you, my man?
Yeah, excited to be here. Sorry to disappoint anybody that was waiting for somebody prettier.
Impossible. There's no one out there. There's no one out there. But no, man, I am excited. I didn't even have any idea that we would have this wonderful guest today. And we should have waited because it's episode 31. But I was thinking if we would have waited till episode 33, it'd be three Pete MVPs on the 33rd season. 33rd bunch of threes, but we didn't think ahead.
Number 3 is all aligned. Yeah, that would be funny. Yeah, I didn't think about that, but because you, myself, and Nicholas, we are all, and it was just announced right this week. We are all 3 times MVPs for UiPath again.
Congratulations!
So congratulations for you too.
Congratulations, you too, as well. Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
But I want to say though, we've got for you and I, it's very easy for us to hop in these conversations because we go a ways back, right? But for people who are new and have never met Nick, we'd love for you to give a background about yourself, right? Tell the listener, who the hell are you and what makes you so awesome? We already know these answers, but we'd love for you to, put it in however terms you'd like to share it to the group.
Sure. Again, audience might be the one to judge about awesomeness, but yeah, I'm Nicholas. I'm from Uruguay, a small country in South America. It's just 3 million people, so not that many of us. I'm co-CEO at GoGrow, and I lead the engineering department. We're a software development company. We help entrepreneurs and early stage startups bring their products ideas to life. Also do some automation on the side. I teach at university, give some talks and so on and so on. But yeah, I've been a UiPath MVP since 2021, so it's been a long time coming. But yeah, excited to be here. I also know you two fortunately in person, which has been great experience.
I hope he
Yeah.
said fortunately. He could have easily.
Yeah,
Was it
yeah.
unfortunately or was it?
I almost didn't understand that. Can you just clarify?
Yeah, we got to know the guest tonight in the know.
I plead the fifth, man. I plead the fifth.
There we go. Hey, we'll take the humor along with it. But no, I know you and I had the chance to meet him, but you weren't at the first MVP, the Mayor Summer, were you, Joe? I don't think so. So I think I might have met, and you were there,
No.
right? I think you and I met at that one. Yeah, the first time, and I was blown back. Right? There's something about you, the way you carry yourself, and the questions that you're asking during the summit. Right? I could just tell you weren't a guy who was really there to bullshit. Like you had some questions you wanted answered, right? And you wanted to learn more about the direction of the product. So I was amazed to meet you. And I know Joe, you just met him in the last summit.
Yeah, that's funny and interesting what you just said there, Jeremy. Because when I went to the summit last year, definitely you see some folks like Nicholas that know what they're talking about, even though everybody's is MVP, but not that they don't know, but you see the real interest on the questions for the answer. But some folks, I get the feeling that they wanted to be on the spot regardless what they were saying.
That's
I don't know if-
interesting. Yeah, I kind of got that. What about you, Nick? Did you get the vibe that some people just, maybe they were there to be on camera more than the product?
I don't know. Like, I'd say people go to be on camera because people bring their camera.
I
Sure.
do. I'm guilty of that. Yes, very true.
So
very
we're
true.
all expecting, like, I think for the last two summits that you've been there, we all expected to see your videos afterwards. So that's also one thing that we all expect to see. So we want to see you, although you don't show a lot of your moves on camera.
Because
That's
those are horrible.
reserved for the private audience.
Yes, yeah. Those are for the Patreon year 3 Bots and Beers season.
So anybody that wants to see Jeremy's moves, you'll have to apply for the MVP and just come to the summit.
There we go. That's the only way to do it. He and don't let him fool you. I got some clips. I should have had those prepped. He's got some moves too. The way he slid off the party bus in Seattle, you wouldn't expect it too. Cool, calm, and collected.
You promised to remove those.
Yeah,
Yeah, it should be out of the question, man.
should have put it on the blockchain.
But I guess, like, I don't know, everybody has their own intentions by going to the summit, so it's different for all of us. I think I do really like going and asking questions and see the product, but at the end of the day, the best part is just meeting people, man.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
seeing you two guys, meeting people who, I don't know, meeting you, Joel, this time was first time last year, but we also got to hang out in Toronto a few
Yeah.
months, a little bit after. I think it was a couple weeks after.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Which,
That's really cool.
I don't know, that's really cool. That sparks, I guess, friendships and connections, which goes far beyond any product that you're working on at the moment.
Yeah, and that's even beyond the just MVPs, right? I saw that you connected with the guy that was getting the good videos and the videographer.
Yeah, the videographer.
I saw you
from the
online.
summit.
Oh yeah,
linking up with
that
him
was
too.
that was insane because we met them at the summit.
Yeah.
Like he spoke a little bit. He was from Romania. It was great, and that was, I think it was in June, something like that, the
Yeah.
summit. And then in September, I ended up traveling to another conference that was actually in Romania. So shout out to Friendly ERB. And I was just entering the premises, and I hit like somebody that's just calling my name, is just running a little bit down the stairs, and I was like, "Hey, man!" Like I was really surprised to his name. Like again, like it's Romania, so you expect to meet somebody that lives in Romania and is from Romania to meet them there, but like insane. That was so
Yeah.
crazy. Ended up
That-
doing some interviews with him. Like
Okay.
I don't know. It was like meeting people is crazy, man. Like you go over
yeah.
all over the world and you see people who you've never contacted if you never traveled.
Hmm.
So definitely
Yeah.
recommend that.
That's a really coincidence, a big coincidence. You know, you travel all the way to Romania and then you met someone, even though he's from there, but you met him once in Seattle and then you met him again in Romania. So what are the odds, man? This is very unlikely to happen. That is awesome.
And that's going to be interesting this year on the summit, which I don't know if it's publicly available information or not, but I think from all the comments on LinkedIn, everybody knows that this time of the year is going to be summit like globally
Yeah.
in Europe.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And
that's going to be exciting. Like I've never met MVPs from outside America, so it's going to be a
mm.
good time.
Oh, and you were in Vegas this year, right? You were in Ford.
No, it's a long travel from Uruguay to Vegas. It's like 18 hours.
Yeah.
18
Oh,
hours.
yeah,
Isn't
something
longer
like that.
to Europe. It is longer to Europe, right?
Yeah, it took me like first time that I went to a summit in Seattle, it took me 27 hours to go and 24 hours to come back. This
That's
year it
crazy.
took me just 22 hours, I think, but still, man,
Wow.
it's like
Will it be
A
like
lot of
that for Turkey
connections.
or yeah? Will it be like that for Turkey if you go to Turkey?
oh, I don't know, because it's just 12 hours to Madrid and then just a few hours to
Okay. So it's like
Istanbul, so it's gonna be less time. This is because just you can get there without like 2 layovers, so
Mhm.
that's
makes it quicker.
better. But I don't know. What about you? Like, I'm hoping you're planning to come or
Yeah,
go.
we're
Yeah, we.
so here's the thing,
It's
right?
weird.
I'll be honest too. Like, so my wife, we're expecting our daughter her due date in end of June, right? And so
That's
I
great, man.
yeah,
Congrats.
thank you. And so depending on what part of the year the summit is and how old my daughter is and when my wife goes back to work, I got a lot of moving parts, right? So I know for a fact, right? It's either I'm going to go to Vegas or I'll go to the MVP summit, right? Like one or the other. I'm probably not going to make both trips this year. And my only concern with Turkey is like they be blowing up cars and stuff over there. You know, I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to get. They have terrorists. There's a reason. You know, I know that they picked Turkey. Like Turkey was a destination that was picked because of ease of access of travel, right? Because
Yeah.
if they're doing a global summit, it's hard for some people in India to get to the U.S., right? To get passports and to get
Not only from India,
yeah,
from
from anywhere. Well,
a
especially
lot of
now,
country.
right? If
Yeah.
you're not already
Yeah.
in there, you might not even get in the next 3 years. So it's a lot more difficult for that. But they said like everybody can basically get a passport to go to Turkey, right? Anybody can get into Turkey. But if anybody can get into Turkey, anybody can get into Turkey. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
You know what? My
that
problem
will.
is not even that. My issue, and when they send the form to say if we wanted a global or not, I said no. And when I knew that it would be Turkey, I essentially I already knew that I wouldn't be going because out of I I I want to go to Europe. I've never been to Europe, and there are so many places that I want to visit there. So I don't want to spend my chips on Turkey because Turkey was never on my plans.
All the
So
places.
if I go to Turkey, I will be missing like UK, or I will be missing so many other places in Europe that I want to see. So I don't want to see Turkey.
What about you? Did you
I'd
know when
say
you
though,
voted? Nick, did you know when you picked that it was Turkey?
I
I didn't know.
I
I
had
don't remember.
some. I don't think it was like completely confirmed, but there were some rumors. Like I've spoken with some people from the community side in UiPath, and it was mentioned that Turkey was one of the options.
So,
Because
you know what?
mentioned I was on UiPath offices on September last year when I visited Romania,
Yeah.
and like you get to some talks with people.
Yeah, but it was
So there
weird
were some
though.
mentions, but yeah.
They said it when we were in Vegas at Ford. They said to me and Joe at lunch one day. They said that when you picked Europe, it said that in the selection next to Europe it said Turkey, and I was like, bro, I
It
don't
did. Yeah,
remember.
it
Yeah,
did.
and
I
so
remember
and they
in the
said I was
forum.
like, dude, I thought it said Europe. I was thinking like Paris or I didn't know where we were gonna. They just opened a new office. Hey, they opened a new office. I wasn't too crazy. So I was like,
Even
maybe.
Bucharest,
amazing.
right?
Yeah,
What do you
or
Even
mean?
Bucharest.
even
Man, like,
Romania, like the
Yeah.
hometown.
Bucharest
Right?
is
Yeah,
so cheap.
yeah.
Like Bucharest is really cheap to stay there, and it is amazing.
So that's
And
why
it
I
is
like.
But I don't
closer
know.
to many other places, better places than,
But I think
that's around
Istanbul
Turkey.
has uh, more travel options. I don't think you have many flights going into Bucharest compared to like Istanbul. So
Yeah, I know it's
still though, I
difficult
would
to,
recommend,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I was in Turkey in Kuşadası, and it is a really nice place. I haven't like gone around Turkey, but just for a few days, I think it'll be worth it if you can also then take a little bit more time and go around Europe.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
He's in the middle.
Yeah,
Are you
yeah.
you already booked your flight, Nick? You going? You going to Turkey?
No, like I haven't booked my flight yet. Like I'm planning to go, but it's a bit complicated because I have to go to the UK in July. So if I go there, I have to go from June to July. So it's gonna be a month travel.
Mm. So
So
like
it's
trying
like a
to,
hard choice. Yeah,
yeah.
and plane tickets are like 15 to 2000.
Woo!
So
Flights
yeah,
got so expensive, man. Like travel is it's
man.
not what it used to be. Not
Yeah,
what it used to
yeah.
be. No, I
And
don't.
you
After
all the
COVID, right?
time.
After COVID, everything got more expensive. And I just feel that the coming weeks and months is just going to get even worse with
Oh
this
man.
whole
Yep.
scenario that is happening here in North America and in the world as a whole.
Yeah. I don't. Everything's expensive, man. I'm trying to look at getting potentially a new car, and it's just like, man, dude, everything in life is just expensive right now. Just to live, just to exist
Yeah.
is expensive.
We
Yeah.
just paid off our car a few weeks
Nice,
ago.
nice,
I'm
nice,
just
nice.
thankful that less one headache. So I'm not planning to replace my car so soon, man. It's
I
a
have a
good car.
2008. It's kind of old. It's old. It's almost
Mhm.
in 3 years. It'll be 20 years old. And normally, you know, that doesn't bother me. But with a young kid on the way, safety first.
Yeah.
There's other stuff. But man, I there's something that Nick, that came to my mind too while you were talking about your journey. And I know that when you obviously were in a much different position when you and I first met at the first summit than what you are in now currently, and what you were in when we met at the last summit. So going from being sort of technical to now, P&L and worried about customers. What's that like? What's that transition been like? How has that journey been for you? I'm curious.
I don't know, man. It's like I still am pretty much deep into the engineering department, so
Of
I like
course.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like my first job was at consulting at a big four, so you learn to deal with customers and their needs and what to
Yeah.
sell and prepare proposals and all of those kind of things. So like you get used to it. But yeah, it's easier to go and do something with a bot or with like a web page or web app or something like that than just having to deal with people. Like
Yeah.
I love people, but not
Uh,
everyone is, let's say, as cheerful as you are
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah. No,
yeah.
that's very true. That's very true. I don't know. I don't know if you what exposure you have, Joe, on the you know, custom getting customers to buy your services or software and stuff like that, and having calls to sales and doing that stuff. But it's definitely interesting, right? You could even approach people, and I've when I was running my own startups, I remember having conversations with a CFO, and he shows you a business case, right? He shows you the most. It's like the textbook RPA business case, and I could just put it in the most black and white language possible that says, "Hey, just give me $70,000, and I'm going to save you $1.9 million, because of these transactions you're doing." And he's still like, "Okay, yeah, no, this is perfect. This is amazing." and it'll take them 10 months to start a deal with you. I'm like, bro, you just spent $1 million doing the work I could have saved if you would have signed this contract 6 months ago. But instead, you paid $1.5 million for a year, and now we're going to do the deal because of budgeting and cycles. So sometimes it's weird. Sometimes the people are weird. Sometimes the decision making is weird.
Processes as well.
Yeah,
Processes.
very true.
You know, it depends on the size of the company, because the bigger they are, the more processes they have, the more vetting, the more red tapes. And I see this at my workplace. There's so many levels of approvals and people engaged for small projects. I was in a conversation this week. I can't give too much details, but essentially, for a new tool, we're going to spend some money, and it's going to take specific time, which is long. And
I hope that's not how it was sold. How's the project sold? What's the timeline? 3 to 4 weeks? Long.
But the point is, we were in a informal conversation, you know, myself and another person. And then I said, well, if this was in a small company, it would be done in like a month, and it would cost like a fraction of what we are spending here. So different scenarios, different realities. It's just different. I think for me, one of the key aspects of any project, regardless RPA or whatever, let's say automation in general, is the risk appetite for the company.
That's huge.
That drives a lot.
Yeah.
That makes a huge difference in any project.
Even, I don't think not even just projects themselves, and maybe you have a point on this, Nick, but I think like the adoption curve of technology, right? How risk adverse they are, or open to risk, because they might take 10 years to adopt RPA when another company would adopt it quick, right? Nevertheless, deploy it. But AI, right, and adoption of that, I think that people are, you know, risk adverse to adopting technologies as well as it's weird, right? You have first, it's got a hurdle just to get people to say, hey, let's do RPA. And then finally they're like, okay, we're doing it. But then it's like a whole other hurdle to get them to like do it at a high level, right? Or do it at scale. You guys experience that, or what did you see, Nick?
I want to see what Nicholas have to say about that.
I think it's very crazy because I think with RPA, at least the crazy thing that I had, and maybe like Joel, you can see it, as you say, big companies take a lot more time to decide, as you were saying, Jeremy, but they also are the ones who have the money. They don't have the risk appetite, even though they have the money to risk it. It's like, I have, let's say 10 mil, I can waste 10 mil, but I'm going to take 6 months to decide to waste 100K. And then a company that only has 100K will decide to spend those 100K in just a month. And it's like, well, like, you could spend those, like, why not? But it didn't happen that with AI, man. Like, I've seen with AI, the crazy thing is like, nobody wanted to rush and implement RPA, which was far more easier to decide that you were gonna get value from it.
Yeah, the CBA.
AI is so crazy. Like, implement AI and then, I don't know, just try to wait and pray and see if you get any value out of it. But companies are rushing to implement AI. It's like we are. I don't know, Zoom is not a video platform anymore. It's an AI business platform solution, something. And it's like Notion, take notes. Now it's AI note taker. Like every company is now AI something. And it's like, do they really do really good AI, or are they just rushing to do something?
Yeah. Or is it worse, a wrapper around somebody else's AI?
like DeepSeek, right? So yeah, DeepSeek was. I think DeepSeek still has a lot of value, even though I'm not gonna use it. But what I heard is that at the end of the day, it was trained based on OpenAI data, right?
Yeah,
or something like that.
It's sort of like how they sort of went in a different way on how they built it, right? It wasn't necessarily they built the answers off responses, but they re-engineered it off of the queries themselves, right? The actual queries that were being presented. So that interests me. But I want to get your guys' thoughts on where this is headed, right? Because what you say is lining up with what I'm seeing, but I have this issue because ROI, first of all, but I also have this bigger issue because I don't. Have you guys seen OpenAI's play recently for operationalizing their tech? You guys seen the tiers and how they're replacing?
No.
They want to replace
No.
employees now. So everybody knows that this is the same thing Nvidia's doing. It's the same thing Microsoft's doing, and it's the play, right? As much as we love to make funny little pictures with GPT or help us create an outline for our book, that doesn't get these companies money. The way that these companies get money is they got to get into corporate America, corporate businesses. They have to get money from companies. And
Mhm.
chatting into a little terminal and getting some cool artwork is not going to get money from these companies. So they're trying to figure this out. And OpenAI, ChatGPT, and their models, like they know they're bleeding money and they need big money. So what do? They recently announced that they're rolling out employees, digital employees. You can pay $8,000 to have a digital coder develop you basic software. You can spend maybe it's like 8,000. Let's say 8,000 for a business analyst, 20,000 for a developer, and then 90,000 for a PhD level research analyst. And
No
they've made
kidding.
these digital workers, and they're charging those rates. Now, my numbers might be off 1,000 or two, but within percentage points, they're on. So you can look this up. But that's what they're doing, right? That's what Nvidia's doing. That's why they're trying to go after agents. There's only way you can make money with AI and agents is if you can get this into corporate America. And so they're building these things. Whose jobs are those going to replace? Right. And I'm not even saying they're going to be able to successfully replace coders or analysts, but that's what they're trying to sell right now. I think they're going to fall on their face, but I'd love to get your gentlemen's thoughts on, is this way too early for this? Should people who are working in businesses be scared that their jobs are going to be taken away by PhD level analysts?
Like, I don't know. It's a bit crazy to think about that because there have been other companies. I think it was, I don't remember, 11X or X11 or something like that, that gave you sales development, kind of like, again, digital assistance and marketing digital assistance. And it's like they've been there for a while, but they don't really perform well. Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing with agents. Like,
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
don't really know what you're going to get. And
You know that.
what you're going to get with people. Exactly.
I know that.
But I don't know. I don't think ChatGPT or Claude or anything are getting, like, they're doing really good progress. But the ones that I'm really seeing are gonna, like, or at least are right now getting the right picture, it's Microsoft. Microsoft always comes on top. They just released it, I think, or presented a few weeks ago, Dragon Copilot or something, that it's kind of like clinician or healthcare digital assistance.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And you're doing it the right way because the AI models are just giving you smarter models. Microsoft is just giving you smarter tools that use those models. But
Yep.
I've only seen the picture of like small startup companies or like mid-sized small companies, and like I'm really curious about like what you've seen, Joel, that you work at a really big company.
No, I don't know how much I can speak about that. But
Let's say,
I
speaking
will,
hypotheticals.
okay,
Yeah.
I will get to that point. But before, I want to make my point on Jerem's question, because I feel I don't know how far in the future, but I feel that we already have been replaced to some extent. Not maybe not a full-time employee, but I feel that maybe companies are, and again, this I have a joke with my wife. These are voices in my head. I have no proof. I have no data whatsoever. Right?
Statistics behind it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel that companies will be hiring less. Let's say, for example, instead of, they are not going to replace a full business analyst for an agent. That's my
One-to-one.
belief.
Yeah.
1-to-1. But to some extent, they will have, instead of 10, they will have 9, and then they will allow the business analyst to use this agent to help them to work faster or
Yeah.
to do a better job or a standardized job between all of the 9, because this one agent will have the standards. that might be something that we can see in the future. Business analysts, developers. I believe, especially with developers, right? I don't see a future so soon where agents will 100% replace a developer. But I see a future where an AI can create a magnificent skeleton for a program, and then a developer just comes after and refine the code and makes it better or appropriate for the scenario that they have in front of them.
Yeah.
That's something I think we should bear in mind, that is happening already, and it's going to grow over time as these models get better and better and better. Now, when it comes to your point, Nicholas, big companies, especially on the financial sector, and if you guys were on the group chat earlier today, I should have messaged, for folks that are in the financial sector, because I wanted to talk about this, but especially in the financial sector, because there are a lot of regulations, we have to obey to specific laws and whatnot. We are risk averse, generally speaking,
Yep.
right? And the bigger you are, less risk you are willing to take. I know a couple of folks on the MVP group, they are on the financial sector, but they are on smaller corporations. Either one of them is a nice small bank, another one is a credit union, really small credit union.
Yep.
We were talking another day, and like our universes are totally different, even though we are all financial institutions. But what they do, I cannot even think about it, right? Because I would be fired if I
booted on a rocket.
right off the gate, just boom, gone. If I would do what they do.
That's wild.
Hopefully your voices in your mind don't tell you to do that.
No. I follow the book. I play by the book. But when it comes to AI, I believe still, like, JP Morgan, I believe is having like some major breakthroughs with AIs. They have some major use cases where they are applying AI to their corporation.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly to what extent, but I think generally speaking, everybody is looking at it, right?
Yeah.
But then they are looking at it and then evaluating how much risk I can take. And based on this risk, I will do specific scenarios, right? I'm not going to apply AI to a customer facing application, or I'm not going to allow AI to read my credit cards, right? or
Smart.
any sensitive data. But okay, if it's another use case, I don't know, an interaction between an agent, customer service, and the custom and customer, right, would be plausible, because then the AI can get the feeling of the customer, can get a summary of the conversation, create a summary of that case, and then put on the CRM tool. So those kind of things I see more possible, but it's still a lot of cautions on that.
One question that comes to mind is, and what percentage of companies that are saying they're using AI, Gen AI, agents, whatever, do you think they're just lying? Like just saying that they have a use case and presenting and hey, we did this, but it's an internal AI, just to say that they did something. Because I'm curious. There've been a lot of tools, or like, remember Devin, the AI coder, which was all.
I mean, we brag about using AI when we do DU. Right? We're like, oh, we use machine learning models. He's an AI.
But it is.
It is to some extent, right? But
yeah,
I think when you say AI, it's beautiful, right? AI, it sparkles in your eye. Oh my God, they're doing it. Whoa, they are gods. Right? Exactly. their angel voice. But I agree with you, Nicholas. I think, yeah, it's hard to see it. It's hard to tell, but
Yeah.
I feel that some folks are just bragging, and I it's funny. I was in a demo a couple of weeks ago, and the tool was AI something, right? In in
Doesn't
my
even
mind,
remember. They
yeah, in
blocked
my
it
mind, I
out.
thought, oh my god,
Yeah.
these guys are doing, like, it was a small tool, but oh my god, they are using AI. But then when I got to the actual demo, I thought, wow, but is this what they call AI? So it goes to your point, right? So what they named as AI was not actually AI. It didn't have any models inside the tool.
Yeah.
So it's
I think
Yeah,
it's
to your
tricky.
crazy.
point, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Like you said, you call that you're using AI when you use DU, but people say they're using AI when they are doing just RAG. And
Yeah.
what's more AI? Machine learning to understand documents and extract data, or
Real time.
just a, let's say, smarter search?
Yeah. Search
Like
engine,
you
right?
could do RAG without, like, and there are
Oh.
actually, I was hearing a
Yep.
podcast by a woman that I forgot her name, but she wrote a book posted on O'Reilly about AI engineering, which is, I think, the most read book about AI in the recent times.
Hmm.
And she was saying that there are tools that were just doing like kind of like searches in
Yeah.
documents. There are far better performance than
Rag.
just any RAG out there. So it's
Yep.
like TU is more intelligent in that sense
Yeah, and see,
than
this
just
is
a plain
my,
RAG.
and this is going to be my hot take of the podcast tonight, right? And I can't even claim
This is the short.
this is the short, right? And I can't even claim credit because the foundation of this concept didn't even come from me. Came from the CTO of UiPath themselves, right? And I'm going to say this: a lot of people are doing a lot of dumb shit with AI that they should just be doing with automation. They're spending way too much money on it. And a lot of
Yeah.
people are spending money coming up with AI solutions that there are much cheaper ways to go about it. And so if you're one of those organizations, you shouldn't be bragging about what you're doing. You should be trying to look for something universally specific to AI. And I also agree with Nicholas, Sir Nick, that if we want to, build something, then we can. RAG is great and context routing is cool and all, but I mean, there's, like, let's do something groundbreaking, right? I think that's also there's a barrier to entry here, guys. I think that you brought something that was very relevant to my brain, Joe, and that's that I've worked with wide range of companies, right? I've worked RPA with companies that have 1,000 employees. I've worked in RPA with companies that have 30,000 employees, right? So, company B has $1 million that they can spend on automation and personnel every year. Company A, $1 million is their entire IT budget for a year, right? And what they can get done with automation versus what another company is if you'd be better off being a rich big company and just spending your $10 million on just automation, just on RPA, and waiting for AI to evolve a little bit to find a solid use case that you can get a CBA out of, and then execute that. Then spending 10 million on AI, neglecting your automation program,
Yeah.
and then 2 years from now saying, well, where the hell did that 10 million go?
Well, one thing that I try to have in my mind always is how much about this is just a placeholder for that guarantees people's job. I don't know. Let me tell you what a bigger picture here, because if you have whatever company that says we want to automate everything that's possible, everything, regardless. So if there is this mentality of, okay, automation, everything, like, without too much scrutiny on the use cases, there's going to be a lot of bad use cases that
Yeah.
shouldn't be automated in the first place.
Yep.
And then the automation as a whole, comes in, like, it is in jeopardy because you don't know if
But
it's worth or not.
But that's poor
right?
program execution, right? I
Oh,
agree with what you're
definitely.
saying, but I'm the one that stands between there, right? if I'm the person who's managing a program and I have $1 million in budget and I'm just lucky and that's my budget versus the company A that has 100,000, well, it's also my responsibility to make sure that I'm ethically deploying solutions, right? I you don't do I promise you, being in this position, I get approached every single day in my current job, and I'm not going to get into details, but I get approached every single day to do some automation for Excel reports, right? It's such an easy no, right? Could I do it? Sometimes there's like 15 people working on these Excels, and I might save 15 minutes of their time every day, which I'm sure would be great. And then even across 10 people, that's great. But that's my job, right? To say, hey, that's great, but I only have this number of licenses. It costs me 40K internally for IT to spin up a project. I shouldn't be doing it on that. I should be doing it on this project instead that saves 100,000. So you're right, but that's where some processes and your term
But
guardrails comes into the play.
you are a cautious guy, but would you agree that there are places out there that
I'm not
are not
cautious.
so cautious like you, and just let's automate in a sense? I-
Yeah,
imagine
no, you're right
picture.
though. You're right. They do that. They
Yeah,
do that.
yeah,
Yeah.
picture this: you are on a entire area that automation is your word, so
Yeah.
you want to automate everything as much as possible, right? Either to guarantee your place or to grow your team,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
you get
Job
the
security.
point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's that. And what I wanted to say in the beginning was that can happen with AI as well, right? So if there is not, maybe not a mandate, but if there is an opportunity to use AI, and I am the one leading this area, let's do it whatever we can, so we have a bigger, blueprint of AI projects.
Don't hire
That
Joe,
goes
guys.
into
Don't hire Joe.
but that goes into saying about like if your only tool is a hammer, every problem you have is a nail.
Mm.
Like you're
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
look into doing anything else. And
Yep.
like I remember somebody told me this. Like I'm not gonna say in a bad way. It's just a way of saying it. But somebody told me like, hey, you're the CEO of a company. Say you got a board or whatever, and you have to do something. Would you go and do it, or do you hire McKinsey to tell you what to do? And what they say was like, if I'm the CEO and I do something and my company fails and I have to go to my board, it's like, I didn't choose this. I hired McKinsey, the best of the best, and
Mm.
they told me to do this. Like you don't want to go wrong and nobody's going to blame you because you chose the best option and they gave you the direction. So at the end of the day, I think with AI, the difference thing is that you're the CTO now and your board or CEO like is pushing you to do AI because you have to do something. What are you gonna say? Just not do AI because it's a
Mm.
bad thing, or like I don't know, you don't have the use case. It's like you
Uh,
have your CEO and you have your board pressuring you.
yeah.
But if you're, as Joel was saying, you're a bigger company, you're risk adverse, like people who are running those big companies, I won't say they're smarter, but at least they've they've gone through the mud a few times. They know when to jump into the water and when to stay cautious and just watch from afar.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that makes sense too. I guess too, to like that kind of answers your question, Joe. Sometimes it's you can use your choice and your experience to make those calls, and sometimes like he's saying, you don't have a choice, right? You're given directives and you got to kind of execute and you got to make the best out of what the situation is. So very interesting. A lot on my brain about the topic. What?
Well, I
What's your thoughts?
go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's just going. I was gonna say, like, what's your thought on agents? Because like everybody now is talking about agentic AI, UiPath, and like I'm gonna blame UiPath. I'm gonna say everybody,
Yep.
but UiPath has a strong posture on agents, and they're gradually building new products. But everybody now is like, anywhere you go is, hey, build an agent for this and for that. And I remember reading, I think it was a few weeks ago, a post from Armand Ruiz. He's a VP of product of the AI
Mm-hmm.
platform at IBM. And he was posting like the post said something like AI agents do not work yet.
Mm.
And the problem was that he said that if you're a big company or whatever, you risk doing the wrong action, leaking sensitive
Yeah.
information, I don't know, sending you to a third party, unintentionally doing some like wrong action that may, I don't know, as Joel was saying, like if you're a bank and you, I don't know, charge them something that you don't want to charge them, or you give them a loan that you shouldn't be giving them. It's like that's really risky.
Yeah.
Maybe you're a small company and you can take that risk,
Hmm.
but I don't think most companies really can actually afford to make a big mistake by implementing agents. But I don't know what's your feelings.
Mm.
I, well, I am very, very cautious. I not just because I am on the financial sector, because I just believe there's a lot of we have an expression in Portuguese which is uh, sparkling fire or something. Is just you just it's just the moment, right? Um,
Yeah.
and it's a cool term, right? It's cool to say that I'm doing AI, I have agents, but honestly speaking, it's too early in the game, right? So of course you can do a lot of things, but I just get a little bit hesitant when I see the sales pitch from whatever company with all the amazing things that the agents can do. But when I look on my side, I see developers still messing up with regular automations. So how can I bring agents to my world when I see developers struggling with regular automations? It's just like two different worlds that cannot combine, that don't talk to each other.
Yeah, I'm on the same thing too, right? And I've been scripting my one of my next videos, and I think it'll kind of be of a shock because part of my intro is that the first time in my career I'm actually worried about the future of UiPath, right? I haven't been concerned with what they're doing and what their trajectory is in a long time because they've always been the front of the pack. And I feel like the first time in my career I'm watching a situation where they're joining groups, right? They're competing, and they have a thing about this, and it's called herd mentality, right?
Yep.
And as soon as you start trying to do what everyone else is doing instead of just doing what you're great at, and you're not competing at what you got good at, that worries me, and it worries me, Joe, because of exactly what you're stating. Their CTO came out and said it at the MVP summit last year. He said, we can already automate 99% of what's going on in the business with the tools we already have in our toolkit. And we can. And companies are yet to leverage it to its full capacity. And I believe that I think agents itself conceptually is the method that unlocks the true potential of AI as a whole. I don't think that comes without agents and agentics and where we're headed with that. But as far as like being at the peak of the hype cycle, I think that's where we're at. We're finally in a situation where years before this, like if you were an executive trying to get your hands on new technology, like it would have been in universities, it would have been tested in peer reviews, and it would have been out for a year before you ever even heard of it. Now, as soon as something cool comes out, like, and you're in IT, you're on the shitter and you know about it before it's even been peer evaled. So I'm worried about that we're at the peak where people are quick to spend money on it because RPA proved there's an ROI for it. Tech, there's been an ROI, we can get our money back, but I'm afraid we're in a black hole where the people are going to throw money at it and they're not going to get anything back yet, right? So I'm worried about the hype being ahead of the delivery. I'm worried about it taking away gas from being able to deliver true value, which is automation. And I also think, and I've said this for years, building an automation program, if your company doesn't have one, sets you up for success to deliver on AI. And I just like, you got orchestration, guidelines, having your data set. Like we've been talking for almost an hour and we didn't even talk about the data, which is the monster behind all of this. Most companies will throw $10 million at AI before they realize that they need to put $10 million in their data before they even get any value out of it. So I think that we're still so early. I think the potential is there, but I'm worried too, right? I think there's too much hype, not enough value yet. And if everybody's getting excited about RAG, I'm not excited about that. I'll just say that.
Sorry, Nicholas. I know you are scratching to talk, but I have to bring something because I just will, on the same lines that what Jeremy is saying. Um, the hype is there, and I just don't get this so sudden shift from act one to act two. Now everything is AI. So, screw all the RPA essentially. And on the summit, not summit, on forward, we were on a session for financial sector, right? So there was the financial, it was not financial summit, was something related to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, no, I think was not even financial, was about infrastructure. I
The
don't
beer's kicking
recall.
in. No, I get it.
Regardless, the host asked, how many of you are on cloud? And there was this room with, I don't know, 100, 200 people. Like,
What's cloud?
Yeah, right,
a couple of
exactly.
folks.
Two,
a couple of
three, that's
folks.
it.
How many of you are on automation suite? Then 10%. How many of you are on-prem standalone? 90%. So they're pushing towards this AI era, while 90% of the folks
Their install
are
base.
still on standalone on-prem. So it's just like a disconnection, right? From
That's powerful. Powerful
what they
statement.
are trying to do with the reality.
That's powerful.
But I think the main issue here is, and to be fair to UiPath, just because we're like MVPs and hopefully want to remain being MVPs,
Very
but I'm gonna
true.
just-
We love the
Yeah,
product.
I'm
We're
just
just
gonna throw,
saying-
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna throw a lifesaver, but it's
There you
like
go.
it is a problem that it was poised to come as soon as they like IPO'd, and it's like now you're not making money, like you're making money from your customers, but you're actually pushing for a valuation that you're getting from your actions, from your stock. And your stock is going to change like this if you don't use AI. Like RPA, it's awesome. Like, again, love it. Been there for, I don't know, almost 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the crazy thing, it's like, it doesn't sell. Like, it's not as shiny as saying agentic, as saying AI. Like, if you don't have that,
Yep.
you're gonna lose your stock. And it's like that's why Nvidia is so big. It's because they do AI everything. Then I don't know, DeepSeek comes out and they go 50% down, and then now they have their convention and they go 50% up, and so on and so on. But that did not happen with RPA. Like actually, if you see UiPath stock, I think it IPO on around 60 or 45, $60, and then it went to 12, 15 or something like that.
Oh.
Which is not bad. It's not a bad thing to UiPath. Like usually your stocks go down unless you're really shiny thing. Like they have to do something just to please people. So I think to their point is, and it's a way of entering. Like you're gonna enter because you have, I don't know, agent builder, and then you're gonna sell them Bravos. So because it's the thing that's gonna sell this thing that is gonna take them value, even if they come knocking because they want to say AI. So to their point, it's just one thing is what you show, the other thing is what you sell.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I know that either way, I first of all, I wholeheartedly agree with your sentiment, but I guarantee you though, with those thoughts in mind, when we get to the summit, if I do go to Turkey, one thing that I'll be asking, which I also asked last summit, is what the hell is up with this licensing structure, right? We still, if that's the way, either way, they got to get this stuff. I still don't feel any resolution or any closer to having a better package. I don't even want to get, I'm not even going to get into some of my feedback, because if I go to Turkey, I'll also have some other feedback of why I almost didn't apply to be an MVP this year. I had some very uncomfortable situations with UiPath, right? On the sales side, right? But I mean, I think that, the technology is there. I think they've invested, they've put money into RPA, and I get it, they're putting money into AI now. But I mean, their tool is solid, right? I mean, the RPA tool is, at a certain point, they probably should have quit investing in some of those products years ago, right? They probably shouldn't have. Some of that stuff should have been. So I'm not worried about them, investing in AI. like I think I agree with after you made that comment, Nick, I agree with you, right? Like you got to part of it's just the price of playing ball, right? You do some of this stuff, or the analysts will just fry you. So yeah,
What
I
a
mean,
price though.
yeah, at what
Like
price? That's
licensing. Yeah, because you were saying about like licensing is getting really complicated. Like I've said no to reselling licenses for the past, I believe, 2 years that we've been approached at our like at my company GoGrow. And like we've done some projects, but we always say like we don't sell licenses because we don't want to mess with that. But the other thing it's like pricing, man. The prices of the licenses are getting really scary. Like if you're a big company, you're a corporation, which I think is what UiPath is targeting, you probably don't have any problem paying tens of
It's
thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars. But if you want to get into RPA and you need to pay, let's say, around $15,000, what company is going to pay that for getting into? If you're not already in RPA, let's say, which
that's more than that,
then
right?
you're
You're
paying
looking
like
at
a few bucks. Yeah, and you pay 20, 50, $100 just for using AI or OpenAI's API. So what are you gonna try first? The thing that costs you 15,000, or the thing that costs you, I don't know,
$15,
2,000?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, a lot of good points here, and man, just we this conversation could just go over and over.
But Joe, I already see the wife over there. I don't know if she's peeking in the door. She was working over here. She was sneaky.
I saw.
Yeah, she was very sneaky. I was nervous too. I got normally it's just me and the boys hanging out. And tonight the wife was there. And I was thinking like, just be yourself. Which I guarantee you, she's gonna give you some feedback, good feedback. It'll be ways I can improve. But I was nervous. I was like peeking. So,
it's funny because my wife is watching us.
Yes, thank you so much, Alex, for watching.
When she asked me, "Oh, get my headset. I want to watch you guys." I felt the pressure already. Now I imagine you with your wife next to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Feel the pressure.
I am on my own on this room, but yeah, you were with her next to you.
There we go. Right there. She heard everything. Every dumb comment I made, she heard.
So you don't say anything. She's checking so you don't say anything that goes out of place.
There we go. She's smart.
Like, hey, yeah, the numbers that you wanted to say like are actually like 15% lower. So she's
right. I felt like a complete dumbass when she asked earlier too. She's like, "What are you guys gonna talk about?" And I was like, "Stuff." I don't know. I feel like such a fraud. I'm like, we just drink and we talk about automation. We don't. That's the point in the show. It's half just the chat.
I don't know. Joel convinced me with that. Like he said, like he wrote me this morning, so I was going to my office when I read that. So and it was like, do I want to come? Like I don't have anything, so like I'll come. But what are we talking about? Should I prepare something? It's just like, it's gonna be just 3 people talking about stuff.
Yeah,
it's like,
there you go, nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? A shout out for you, Nicholas, because we've talked on offline about you like months ago, I believe. Oh, he would be great here. It would be a great conversation, and I've been planning to reach out to you for at least a couple of weeks because we had like 3 other guests in a row.
Yeah.
But the last few weeks were just so crazy for me, and I as I said, it's lab for me. I didn't remember
2 demerits.
So, yeah, but then earlier this morning, I woke up and I was working already. And, oh my God, today's the show. Oh, let me message Nicholas.
Stuff, man. We just talk about stuff, bro. Hang out and talk about it.
It's amazing, man. Like I've been watching last couple of episodes, and I really gotta say I love the video that you guys made for the start.
Oh, thank you.
Jeremy did. I didn't do anything. Jeremy did.
No, like you appear, like you made the content that ended up appearing in the video. So like at the end of the day, like, like I don't know, it's fun, it's great. Like I think it's really enjoyable. Everybody that I've seen on the podcast always seems to be having a good time.
Joe, got the
so yeah.
Agree. Thank you so much for coming on short notice, dude. I really appreciate it. I enjoy talking to you at the summit. This is no different. I can't wait. I think we should go through and get a bunch of the MVPs rolling, man. Nick is our first one of the year. We'll keep it rolling, man. I love this. I love the vibe.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
All right. So before I'm gonna kick off our outro, but like we do with every guest, Nick, is there some sort of cause? Well, maybe it's your startup. Is there anything that you want to shout out, or anything that you want to send us on our way with? Anything you want to call out?
Oh man, that got me out of surprise. So I don't
That's
think
how we
there's
do it.
any, yeah, like any shout out. I think it's you two guys and the rest of the MVPs that just were announced. I think that's always like a good place to start. And then
Yeah.
I don't know, shout out to GoGo, a company that I really enjoy working on. And yeah,
There you go.
I'm not good on my feet, so
Hey, you did really well. I'd say the last hour proves otherwise. So, but Joe, thank you, Nick. Joe, did you have anything to send us out on? What do you got, brother? Anything? Any last words?
Man, I still got some beer, so I will drink here after the show. But yeah, this was awesome, man. I just like how I thought it would be, nicely and smoothly. Conversation that again could last for at least another hour or so,
Easy.
with no doubt. So thank you very much, Nicholas. Again, short notice, like 12 hours ago, less than that.
I killed it.
Okay, I can move things around here. I can be on the show.
Loved it. Loved it.
Yeah.
Cool. And thank you also to all of our unsung guests, the people that were live with us. Thanks, Alex. Thanks, Rome. Thanks, all the other people. Shane, we appreciate it. Joe, I'm switching this. I'm getting us on our end screen.
Awesome.
Here we go. Woo. Mute myself.
Okay, so now I can say that you are gay.